Salutations guys, it's Dante here with one of my very infrequent live sections, and today we're looking at Steve by Mojang. That's right, Mojang have gone ahead and released action figures of some of their best known Minecraft creations. So here I have, of course, Overworld Steve, who is fully articulated. He comes with a coal block. Of course you get Steve himself and a stone pickaxe. It is stone. You can see the lovely shade of grey you get there. Of course you've got the Mojang symbol in the corner and Minecraft. Steve, of course, there holding his pickaxe, looking very sweaty. Having a look at the back. So you have collect them all. You've got your Enderman, you've got your Creeper, and you've got your Zombie. Now, from my opinion, because obviously you get one block, you get one item, and you get one figure. Now, I think the item most people are going to want is the dirt, because that's the most common element in Minecraft. You get tons of dirt. The monster or the mob people are going to want is, well, everybody hates a creeper, but creepers are cool. A bit like bow ties or fezzes. So, the mob you're going to want is the creeper. The block you want is the dirt, and if you already own a Steve, the item you want is the sword. So it looks like they've been very canny and broken things up. Now Steve has a little bio. He is the player, of course. His behaviour, highly capable and customizable. Steve possesses excellent crafting and combat skills. He can also carry a hefty inventory and tame various types of creatures such as Enderman, creepers and zombies. And fun fact, Steve is 1.79 meters tall and very athletic. He can jump over 1 meter, which is a block. And if anyone's tried to make him jump over a block, it's not too easy. You need to be hit up the backside. And you've got your usual mumbo jumbo here. You've actually produced by Jazzwares Inc., which must be the company Mojang are using. Or obviously they've got the license to use Mojang symbol. Not for anyone under 3 years, although we have a 6+ symbol here. Now, also, just in case you're thinking it's going to be Steve alone, I did also pick up the Creeper. So you can see my TNT block here. You've got the Creeper slightly looking up. That's a very lovely camera you've got there. Same if something were to happen to it. And you've got the gunpowder for when you have dispatched that Creeper. On the back, you've got something very similar. You've got a very scary looking gang of creepers there. Of course, now we've got Steve in the mix and the creeper's gone. And quite interestingly, we have type hostile mob, of course. Creepers stealthily approach players and explode at the most inconvenient of times. They're vulnerable to cats and ocelots, hey, and make an ominous hissing noise when they're about to pop. And fact of the day is, the game's creator accidentally invented the iconic creeper silhouette when designing a pig. So maybe if a pig was leaning over, or a pig was on its side and didn't have, very interesting. Kind of a very tall pig, maybe. So there we go. Now I'm going to stop here. I'm going to open these babies up and we'll take a closer look. So back in a second. And we're back. Now here's Steve outside of the box. And as you can tell, he is reasonably accurate to the default skin for Minecraft. Now, I will say, if you have a look at the colours, they are a lot less subtle than on the actual skin itself. So you can see these slight turquoise patches here are much darker than the main body, and the arms don't match the main chest. It's not terrible, but it does look very different. See these little marks on his arms, rather than looking like different shades of skin, look more like dirt or mud, or maybe he's trying to unblock the toilet. Block. Anyway, now the paint's all quite good all around. You can see the corners are nice and shiny. I've got a slight paint splat here, and you can see around the edges it kind of is very rough, but it's not too bad at all. Now I have also noticed that on my particular figure, if you have a look at the legs, I have one left foot, well I suppose right foot for Steve, and another right foot. Now, it hasn't actually got the little splat here for the shirt, so I don't know what's happened there, but I've had a look at a few different ones after when I was buying the creeper, and most of them do seem to have the right feet. So I guess it's just mine that has 2 right feet. I don't know if that means he's very good at dancing or not at all. Now, articulation-wise, he has even a little less than you might expect from Steve, because in the game, Steve has no elbow joints, so we're very suited there, no elbow joints. Has no knees, and again, no knees. Head can turn right and left, but there is no ball joint in the neck. It is just a swivel, so his neck does not go up and down. And that's probably the only place he's actually less flexible than the Steve model. Can turn at the waist, of course, as well. Now, one of the things I will say, which is really cool, is if you take Steve here, you can pop his head off. Now, I've not seen, I can't tell whether it's compatible with anyone else yet. If I bring it in the creeper, you'll notice that the creeper is not in scale with Steve. See, the head for a creeper's head should be about the same size as Steve's head. Now, and also, if you take the head off, ooh, it's a bit tight. Oh. And you take Steve's head off. It's a bit too big because there's a bit of a wobble. It won't stay on. So, unfortunately, oh, looks a bit like Doc M. Get to the chopper, it is Doc M. I'm slightly racist. Okay, so let me just grab Steve's head, put that back on. We'll look at the creeper in a minute. Now, getting onto Steve's accessory, so we've got his stone pickaxe here. Now you can see the way he holds it here is he has a very jaggy hand, so it almost looks as if he has, say, 8 fingers. Now sideways, it just scoots in like that. See? And because of the jaggies, the way it's made, fits in like that. So very well held. He can dig it hole very, very easily. Now, if we try and use the accessory here, we try and use the gunpowder, it will not fit. It is far too wide, if you can see that there. No matter how I try and fit it in, no use. You cannot hold a gunpowder. So it looks like the creep is slightly too big, and so is the gunpowder. Now, I don't know if that's a mistake, whether they're supposed to be compatible, but you can't actually have him hold the gunpowder, which is kind of a shame. Now, what we'll also do is we'll have a very look, and my phone is trying to tell me my charge is low. Apologies for that. We'll have a look at the creeper. Now, stick his head back on. Oh, it's a bit tight there. Oh. So, as you can see, putting it on's a bit tight. Turning it at all is a bit tight as well. But the creeper is marked as he should be. There's not so many different greens. There's just a dark green, a light green. So he's not as shaded, but it does really work. And if you look very closely, let's see if I can get this camera to focus. You can see that the mouth, almost as if it's been mispainted and painted back over, but there are multiple shades of black there. So that's a really nice detail. So they've not just used that one shade. Now, he has 4 individual legs. Now, they could have done this a few different ways. You've got a little tramp stamp here, so you know which is a back, which is a front, because it could get a bit confusing. So we have 4 individual legs. Oh, and you've got, of course, got the toenails here. 4 individual legs, toenails on the front of each, of course. And they just fold upwards and downwards there. So nothing amazing, but you can get the poses. So obviously he'll stand on all 4. Oh. 1 in the air, as if he's walking forwards. Let's see if we can have 1 up here, 1 up here. So this is mid-walk, and yeah, you can get him to balance. It's a bit easier to balance than Steve with his 2 little legs, so there you go. So you can recreate a scene here, so you can play with your Minecraft. I am a dwarf and I'm digging a hole. ching ching, $20 to the Yogscast. Sneaking up and... let's head back to shit. And, of course, there you go. Oh, sorry about that. Now, having a look at the block itself, because that was on the previous video before when my camera ran out of power. The blocks themselves are very basic. I think it's this way up. It's just very cheap plastic, but it is printed, and if you can see, there are a few different shades. You've got black, and you've got a grey, slightly lighter grey, you've got a dark grey, another light grey. You can see it is very cheap, though. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a collector's item. Steve is very well built. He's not going to fall apart anytime soon, but definitely a bit cheaper for the block. Now, they're all of the same size. So the TNT block, which is again a printed block, I'd say the printing is probably slightly better on the TNT. They are exactly the same size, so you can actually stack the blocks together. So, say if you want to buy 100 Steves, 100 zombies, and you want to buy yourself a few creepers, you will have a good set of blocks. You can start building something. Now, as for the size of the blocks, now each block, Steve himself, well, it says 1.76 meters, so technically those should be about the right size. They feel a little too big if you've played the games, but technically these should be the right size. So, say obviously the coal block is the same size as a workbench, so he can easily stand there and build away. So it's about the right size. So that's pretty much everything to do with Steve and Creeper. Now, the last thing we've got to do, there are a few size comparisons. So if I put Steve and Creeper here for a second, let's try. Now, talking about building games, you can see how big he is compared to... Oh, if we put this a bit closer to the middle of the camera. So, here is Steve, who's supposedly a 3-inch action figure. So he's about twice the size of little Lego Iron Man here. Let's refocus that. Or if we want to get something everyone will recognise, he's about double the size of the 4-star ball from Dragon Ball. Or for Toku fans, a bit smaller than a Gaia Memory, bit bigger than a Wizard Ring, completely dwarfed by a White Wizard Driver. And if we want to get really silly about size, not even on the same scale as Masterpiece Soundwave, although it actually does look pretty in scale with Laserbeak here. There we go. That is Steve, Laserbeak, and a Creeper. So guys, let's get everything into this one shot here. Let's get that as well, and let's give Steve a Dragon Ball to hold on to. Oh, there we go. Try not to knock my light over. Okay, guys. So that's it. That is Steve, Creeper, and all of the accessories. So I would recommend these. These are lovely items. Although Steve, the paint isn't quite right. Does slightly put me off. It's great quality, and I'd love to see what we can do swapping parts with the zombie. Okay, this is Dante signing off, TTFN. See you next time, probably back with a regular episode. Bye-bye.